y'all know who I am. My name is Alison Jones. This is Nursing Senior Project 490. Today I wanted to bring forth the change project that I had identified in my class when I did a research project. And my change project is called the Bath Bundle, Improving Outcomes for the Benefit of Newborns. Y'all know with the increase of midwifery deliveries and a lot of patients that are more granola, as we call them, who like to go more natural, that patients have been choosing not to bathe their babies, if at all, during their hospital stay. So it sort of put that idea in my mind as to, yes, they're not going to want me to bathe their baby. That's sort of nasty. But it also let me know that is there a reason why they do choose that. So I just sort of took that with my research project and went through and did some background checking as to what the benefits were, or if there were any at all. And there were several that I found. One, of course, is the thing we all know because we're pro breastfeeders, that it does improve the betterment of breastfeeding. It also helps to boost their immune system. The natural flora that's on them with their vernix is really good to help their immunity. So if they can keep it on their skin a good 6 to 12 hours, it also helps them to be more healthy in the end as they grow. As far as the problem statement, it just was going to show how delaying the bath was going to benefit them in the long-term care throughout their life. The purpose of it was to improve, of course, infants' health. And also, through this, I decided, or it had come to, I guess, evident, that most nurses are more task-driven, checklist-driven, and that we get into this routine of this is how we do it, and we're going to stick with it with every delivery we have. And so when patients would come through and say, oh, I don't want to bathe my baby, but then yet wait to the day of discharge to be bathed, we're like, but it is actually a good thing. So I talked to Jenny Hudson and Amanda and Kathy and some of the supervisors, and Dr. Hudson was very interested in the background research with it, and she's like, oh, it'd be great to bundle it with the hepatitis B vaccine and call it a bath bundle. And she, like myself, feel like sometimes when we're admitting, we have just the patient, the family, everybody in the room, and we go, is it okay if I bathe your baby? And not to say, there's benefits that showed that we should delay it, and this is why. It also gives us the opportunity, if we do it as a bundle, to spend a little bit more one-on-one education-wise with them, not have so many people in the room, and that way they'll really listen to what we're saying. So the theory model behind how we're going to make the change is the Lewin's change theory. I don't know if many of y'all are familiar with that from nursing school, but part of that is to unfreeze the unfreezing stage, which means we sort of got to change up our routine of how we do things, and then remap how we're going to do it through the change stage, and then the outcome will be that we're refreezing everything into the new outcome. So our thought is to, when a baby is born, to put a card on the crib of the newborn that says pretty much my bath time will be due between the hours of 6 hours after birth up to 12 hours, so that the patient and all the staff, especially our external staff, who knows if they should wear gloves? How do we tell now if a baby's had a bath? Those little things that we do to train people. Not everybody knows to use gloves when they're caring for it, with hearing screening coming in and everyone on that end. And the little stickers that we use are teeny tiny. So we were going to develop a card to stick on the crib that'll have that time frame as to when it's born. Now that's going to take our task-driven of bathing babies at the beginning and move it during the same time frame that we have identified for that particular infant. And during that time, it may fall on the staff nurse. It may fall that they deliver on day shift and have to be bathed on night shift. And yes, we're still gonna let the family be involved, so our goal is to push it at least to the 6 hour mark, okay? And then sort of play with it with the family at that point, because we don't want to keep people up at night, and it may be that they extend it longer. But Jeannie was like, yeah, the 6 hour mark is the limit. I'd also discussed with her about, is it okay for every baby to be bathed early, because we have the new information with Choreo and our, what is it called, that we use? Sepsis calculator. That helps us identify those babies that are more at risk. And Dr. Hudson said she was very much supportive of it being just those children that are choreo, that we would not delay the bath. We would not delay those infants' bath, but everybody else would be delayed 6 to 12 hours out. So the outcome, of course, would be that we'd all be participating and forthcoming with that delay of 6 to 12 hours. They would do surveys, sort of like we do the 36-hour bundle now for our infants. They'll be doing surveys to sort of make sure everybody is being compliant. Of course, like I said, we would have to document if the families decided that they didn't want to participate, or if and when the bath got completed. Do y'all have any questions?
So we could do it earlier if the parent wishes.
If the parent wishes. Of course, you know, we're family centered, so we want to be more family driven, but we also need to, you know, educate. That's part of it, to keep people educated. And once we educate them, if they still would prefer us to go ahead and bathe, then we go ahead and bathe, because we are family centered. A good question. Any other questions? Comments, ideas, things that y'all think? And it's a learning curve. It's going to affect mostly the staff routine. But I think also that the card that we put on the crib will help those supports people to know if the baby's been bathed or not, so they'll know to keep themselves gloved up when they're dealing with the infant. The other thing is that once we have completed the bath, we're going to remove that card and hand it to the patient for their shadow book or whatever they choose to do with it. Or we could leave it on the crib and just put a big check mark across the top of it, sort of like the hearing screeners do with their stamps. So we'll come up with the details.
We need a stamp with the bathtub.
That might be a good idea.
We'll stamp up that card.
We're going to look at, because of course when you do a project like this, you sort of look at budgetary and expense. And so part of that, you know, is to do it the less expensive route for the benefit. And we do a lot of deliveries, and Dr. Hudson said that, you know, it would probably be a little bit more feasible to accomplish this, because when we split and we go to paved wood, it'll help alleviate all the, hopefully, the little days that we have where we're just like barely keeping our nose above the water. But she thought it would be a great idea, so I told her, I said, we can do whenever you're ready. Now I did do a timeline, part of the class, and so timeline would be to do some lunch and learn. So if y'all think of any questions or anything, please, you know, ask me and give them to me, because we can always adjust this to, you know, to be more efficient in the end. All right. Thank you guys for taking a little time to share. Now I'm going to leave this here and the little booklet, and my paper project is in here, the paper that I wrote for the project, and just a little snippet. So if y'all are interested in reading a little bit more in depth about it, you're more than welcome to.